Hello everyone, welcome back to Pilot Labs. My name is Chirag and today we are here to learn about a method that can help you in configuring Cisco devices without the need of anything fancy like a SSH connection, an Epmico library, or any sort of extraordinary library. We are learning about RestConf. RestConf is a mechanism that can allow you to make configuration or fetch configuration or fetch details from your connected network device over simple HTTP calls. In this video, I will talk about RestConf, how to enable RestConf on Cisco CSR devices or iOS XE devices, and then how to use the library request to pull the interface details from that particular device. But the very first question that arises is what is RestConf, right? RestConf is a API which is used to access the YANG data models on the network devices. It's based on HTTP protocol and uses methods like get, post, put, delete. Now, when I talk about these methods, I would like to tell you that get is used to fetch the data, post is used to create new configurations, put is used to modify existing configurations, and delete is simply to remove the configurations, right? So it's just an easier and modern way of dealing with the operating systems, which are like iOS XE, iOS XR, and an XOS. Behind the scenes, we can say it is the YANG data models, which actually take up the role of validating the data and ensuring that we configure everything correctly. So if you are excited to learn about this amazing way of managing and configuring the routers, then this video is definitely for you.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
So the very first step is making sure that your CSR router or your iOS XE router is up and ready to be managed over RestConf. In order to manage it over RestConf, you need to enable certain things on the device, which are like the HTTP protocol, and then also the RestConf services needs to be enabled. So the very first step is enabling RestConf on the router. Here I have a CSR router in my topology connecting to the cloud network, which basically allows me to make a communication from my Windows device to the CSR router. I'll take the access of the CSR. We'll say no to the question, enter, and we'll try to take the access of the user mode. Once we get the access, we'll set the host name, IP configurations, and then we will enable HTTP services on my CSR router. Enable config T, host name R1. I'll go to the interface gig1 and assign the IP address as 10.255.1.101, 255.255.255.0, no shutdown, exit. Then I will enable the HTTP services, IP HTTP server, IP HTTP secure-server. This will enable the HTTP and HTTPS services on my CSR router. Once that is done, I'll set a username and password so that I can perform authentication over HTTP protocol. So username admin privilege 15, password Cisco. After setting the username and password, it's time to enable RestConf on my router. In order to enable RestConf, we simply have a single command in the config mode, which is RestConf. Once you enter this RestConf command, the RestConf server will be enabled on the device and your router is ready to be managed or configured with the help of RestConf. Once that is done, now it's time to add all those required libraries that can help me in order to perform the configurations or in order to fetch the configurations from the device. In this video, we are focusing on understanding how to use the get operation to fetch the interface data. So what I will do is I will open my VS Code. Here in my directory, I will add a new file. I'm going to add a new file called restconf int data.py. And the library that we require for working with RestConf or any HTTP based protocol is the request library. So let's first of all install that. I'll go to my terminal, new terminal, and here I will write a simple command, python-m pip install request library. I already have this library, that's why it says requirement already satisfied. Once the installation is completed, we'll come back to my script and we will call the library in my script. Import request like this. From the request library auth section, I will import a function called HTTP basic auth. HTTP basic auth is used for performing authentication over HTTP protocol. Then from getPass, import getPass. GetPass is a function that allows us to collect data in masked manner, where you can collect passwords in a hidden manner to be safe, right? And that's all what you require. Now, in order to execute a successful HTTP query, you need to define the URL, you need to define the credentials, headers, and the method that you want to use. So the URL is something that takes us to the destination or to the network device that we are trying to manage. So I'm going to specify my CSR URL as https:// IP of my router 10.255.1.101 slash RestConf slash data slash. Now I need to put the data model name. So to manage the interfaces on CSR router, the Yang data model that we use or that CSR uses by default is IETF provided interfaces data model. So I'll type down the name IETF hyphen interfaces colon, and then I need to specify the container name. There is a container tag or container, we can say value, which basically holds the data model in the configuration database of the CSR. So that container tag or the container contains the value as interfaces. My URL is https:// IP of my device. RestConf is the protocol. Using RestConf, I'm trying to manage the data. Data model name is IETF-interfaces. Interfaces is the container information. Because I'm willing to fetch the interface details, that's why my URL looks like this. If you are configuring or fetching the data related to some other protocol, then your URL will obviously change according to that protocol, where you will call the appropriate data model and the container. After defining the URL, I'll specify a variable for collecting username using input function. Enter your username. Then CSR underscore password, get pass bracket, enter your password. These two statements are to collect the username and password from the user. Then I will specify the CSR credentials using the function HTTP basic auth. So username is equals to CSR username, comma password is equals to CSR password. We'll collect the credentials. After that, we need to specify the headers. So CSR underscore headers is equals to, we'll be using except header, and the value to that is going to be application slash yang hyphen data plus JSON. We can specify JSON or XML on the basis of how we want to fetch the data. Both are supported. You can fetch data in either of the forms. After specifying everything, that means the URL, the credentials, the headers, now it's time to execute the query. I can create a variable interface details is equals to request dot. We'll be using get operation as we want to fetch data out. So get bracket URL is equals to CSR URL, auth is equals to CSR creds, then headers is equals to CSR headers. We are specifying all the parameters. Lastly, verify is equals to false. As right now, we are not specifying any SSL verification. That's why it's simply to it's simple to just disable that as of now, right? So verify is equals to false, and that's all. Your script is complete. this script is ready to fetch interface details of your CSR router. Let's try to run this and see what data is generated. We have a prompt for entering the username. So I'll type down admin. Password is Cisco. I'll type that down. And I guess we didn't see any results. Why? Because I missed on adding one statement here, which is print interface details dot text. This is used to print out the response text that we have got from the CSR router. You can also print the status code by saying print int details dot status code, something like this. Now, if I rerun my script, I'll see the response which is generated by the router. So username admin, password Cisco, and there you go. Here we have got the JSON data for all the interfaces: Gigabit Ethernet 1, Gigabit Ethernet 2, Gigabit Ethernet 3, 4, and lastly, I can see the status code as well. So yeah, the script works absolutely fine, and that's how simple it is to use RestConf to fetch out the data from your CSR router. And in this particular example, I have used .get operation, request.get, which is used for fetching data from the device. We have a URL which is structured as per the appropriate data model and the container name. We have HTTP basic auth for performing authentication. We have the headers defined to fetch the data in the form of JSON, right? And lastly, we are printing out the output with the help of int details.text command. That's how the ResConf works, and you just saw ResConf in action. Clean, simple, easy, and scriptable, right? There is much more in ResConf which we can together explore in our CCNA automation trainings, and there we can get into the depth of it. But yeah, till then you can definitely practice this much and explore it with this particular script. I hope you liked the video, and if you did like the video, then do drop a comment and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in some other video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.